I'm 29 now, CEO of a shiny future of work startup. But rewind a bit. High school? Could barely use a graphing calculator. Uni? Business major with a gender studies minor. Never actually STEM, but always said I was breaking into tech. Dad laughed once when I told him I'd run a software company. Said, "Sweetie, tech isn't about slogans, it's about skill." Swore then I'd prove him wrong. Prove all men wrong. Uni days. Wasn't great at coding, but I figured I didn't need to be. Why should women have to learn the same boring grunt work men cling to? Always told myself vision greater than code. Hung around the CS building anyway, watched guys stay up debugging. I'd make the Canva slides, bring snacks, call myself the ideas person. Teachers praised me as a natural leader. The guys, detail-oriented at best. Hackathon semester, pitched an app for students to share notes easier. My team was 2 CS guys, they built the whole thing overnight. I just sold it on stage with hand gestures and buzzwords. We won a prize, got told I was a born founder. I ate it up, posted a whole thread about smashing glass ceilings. Never mentioned they wrote every line of code. Met Chris around then. Quiet, awkward, ridiculously competent. Basically carried me through every assignment. Would hand me a working build, I'd smile, write the marketing copy. Professors gave me credit for vision, him credit for execution. Guess which one panels wanted to put on stage? I leaned into it, he never complained. After graduating, joined every Women in Tech panel and mixer. Perfect optics. Young female founder defying odds. Investors loved it. I was the diversity checkbox wrapped in TED Talk energy. Pitched a Slack competitor but friendlier, built for women by women. Truth? It was just a dashboard skin wired together by Chris. Investors ate it up anyway. Wanted a story, not a system. Closed a seed round by being loud, not technical. Series A just closed. We're finally legit. Launch party in our new office. Catered trays of lukewarm sandwiches, craft beer sweating in bottles, post-it buzzwords everywhere. Collaboration, synergy, flow, fresh paint smell trying to cover the hollowness. Stand up, give my big girl boss speech, say we're proving women don't need men in engineering, just empowerment and teamwork. Phones out, clapping. Senior male devs, the ones Chris hired so he wouldn't have to carry me forever, stand in the back, silent. I frame them as gatekeepers of old tech culture. My VP squad claps like trained seals. Dana, head of marketing, rolls her eyes when I mess up the demo. Pretend I didn't see? Truth is, I never saw code as the real work anyway. Guys obsess over syntax and bugs like it's life or death. I always thought that was the boring stuff. Women bring ambition, communication, leadership, the important parts. Men can sit in the basement, clicking keyboards, we set the direction. End the night, wander back to my desk. Old monitor still has a sticky note from Chris. Don't forget to eat. Roll my eyes, crumple it, toss it in the trash. Classic male thing. Focus on the little details, miss the big picture. Exactly why they'll never be real leaders. But what really got under my skin wasn't the bugs or the backlog. It was the way those guys acted like they were holding the company together, like without their commits and late nights, nothing would move forward. Hated the smugness in their silence. The same look Dad gave me when he said, "Sweetie, tech isn't about slogans, it's about skill." Men always think they're the backbone just because they can fiddle with wires and code. Decided right then, I wasn't going to let my own company become another place where men lurk in the background acting indispensable. Wanted to prove women could run every part of it. Not just marketing or comms. All of it. Front to back, full stack Girlboss empire. So I started drafting a plan, a transition into an all-female engineering team. Pitched it to the VPs as culture change. Told them men were gatekeeping the codebase, slowing us down, hoarding knowledge. Said we'd replace hierarchy with collaboration. They clapped like I'd announced a revolution. Truth? I wanted them gone because I couldn't stand the idea of needing them. Reminded me too much of Dad, the unspoken smugness that men were always the real providers. I'd rather risk the product than let that narrative win again. Chris was the only exception. He'd been there since day one, the one who actually built the prototype. Unfortunately, he's the co-founder with parity rights and a board seat. No idea what that means. But I couldn't just kick him out without a vote, at least not yet. So I told myself he'd be transition support while we phased in a female-only team. He didn't argue, just nodded quietly like always, which almost annoyed me more. About a week later, the transition started rolling out for real. HR scheduled the exit meetings for the guys. They showed up with cardboard boxes, Packing plants, coffee mugs, USB drives. Quiet, no shouting, no drama. Just that calm, smug look that pissed me off the most. Mark, one of the seniors, picked up his box and said, "Good luck. You'll need it." I smiled and said, "We'll be fine." Collaboration over hierarchy. He didn't argue, just walked out. The silence felt heavier than words. Chris didn't clap when I announced the new master plan. He just muttered, "You don't just swap experience overnight." Systems don't care about slogans. I brushed it off as his usual pessimism, told him we were building something bigger than code. He sighed, went back to his desk. HR pipeline exploded after I posted a Women in Tech, Apply Here tweet. Hundreds of resumes in a week. I filtered for women only, obviously. Any hint of doubt in the cover letter? Instant reject. One girl aced the technical test, but during the interview she asked, "Don't you think an all-female workplace could backfire?" Red flag. Dropped her immediately. Told HR she wasn't aligned with culture. The ones I did hire were perfect on paper for diversity. Boot camps, hackathons, side projects. One bragged about a weather app she built in college. Another listed moderating a Discord server under experience. Not much actual code in their repos, but I didn't care. They were eager, loud about representation, and constantly quoted my Girlboss lines back at me. Rolled them out a week later, glossy HR welcome emails with banners saying equity in action. LinkedIn lit up with posts like "so proud to join a company proving women can code without gatekeepers." I shared every one, of course. Dana kept her mouth shut, but I saw the look on her face. Half pride, half, "Oh God, what are we doing?" But she knew better than to contradict me in front of the team. First day with the juniors was rough. Spent hours just trying to set up their environments. One girl asked if GitHubs was the same thing as Git. Another couldn't figure out how to run tests locally. I told myself it was just onboarding jitters. Vision greater than code, remember? Chris stayed quiet, answered their questions patiently, the kind of basic stuff he never even had to explain to the guys we just fired. It annoyed me how calm he was, like he knew this was coming, but I told myself that's exactly why he'd never be a leader. A couple weeks into the new era, I kept telling everyone the energy felt different. Collaboration, empowerment, synergy, but underneath it, the cracks were already showing. Support tickets started creeping in, clients complaining about files not syncing, integrations randomly breaking. Small stuff at first, nothing headline worthy. I told Dana it was just transition turbulence. She gave me that tight smile again. Didn't argue. Team meetings were chaos. Instead of status updates, it was basically a group therapy circle, girls interrupting each other mid-sentence, one saying, "Actually, I wrote that feature." Another muttering, "Well, I didn't get credit on the slide deck." I called it healthy debate. Chris sat in the corner, laptop open, fixing things quietly, didn't join the squabbles, just kept typing. Once he looked up and said, "We've had 3 rollbacks this week. If this pace continues, we're going to lose tons of users, plus we have huge deadlines coming up, and you know that." I told him to stop fear-mongering, the new team just needed space to grow. He nodded, went back to typing. The juniors idolized me at least. One of them, Kelsey, kept saying, "You're literally proving women can lead without gatekeepers." I ate it up, reposted her LinkedIn update about me being her role model, chose to focus on that, instead of the fact our error log was doubling every week. Friday night, Dana stopped by my office. Before leaving, held up a stack of printed tickets. "These are from just the past 2 days. I told her to relax. Optics mattered more than a few bug reports. Clients weren't going to care about the back end. They'd remember the story. She didn't argue, just left them on my desk. I never opened them. Monday morning in office, open my laptop, 20 unread bug alerts in the urgent channel. Half of them are just copy-pasted from Stack Overflow with question marks at the end. Girls tagging me like I can debug anything. I just type, "Let's circle back in the stand-up." Stand-up is a mess. Maria says her branch disappeared. Turns out she never committed anything in the first place. Jules says she accidentally deleted the database. She was just trying to run a local migration. Someone asks what the word merge conflict actually means. I jump in, say maybe we failed to onboard them properly, blame the institutional legacy from the old dev team, say it's not their fault, they just need time and support. Chris finally speaks up. This is stuff you cover in week 1 of CS 101. His voice isn't angry, just tired. Girls shift uncomfortably. One mutters, "Well, not all of us went to Stanford." I glare at him, say that kind of gatekeeping is exactly why tech pushes women out. He doesn't argue, just goes back to fixing another rollback. For a second I think about the old crew. Mark, always grumpy but could squash a bug in minutes. Jared lived on energy drinks but had every obscure API memorized. Chris, silently fixing things at 2 a.m., leaving the repo spotless by morning. Look at the new girls, still trying to figure out where the test files are. Tell myself this is what knowledge redistribution looks like. Men weren't geniuses, they were just selfish hoarders. We'll catch up, Dana corners me after. We promised the investors a stable demo in 3 weeks. Are you confident we'll hit it? I laugh it off. Say, how our company looks matters more than perfect uptime. She doesn't laugh back, just stares at me like she's counting the days. Later that night, walk past Chris's desk. He's muttering to himself, merging pull requests the juniors don't even understand. For a split second, I feel guilty, like I've replaced competence with hashtags. Then I shake it off. That's exactly what Dad would say, and Dad was wrong. Investors flying in Thursday for the big demo. They want to see a live walkthrough. Real users, real workspaces, real-time messaging. Told them we're ready. Truth? We're barely holding it together. Schedule a dry run for Monday to see what actually works. Tell the team, this is where we prove ourselves. They cheer, drop hashtag girl code in Slack. Monday arrives, nothing works. Login screen freezes on Chrome. Create workspace crashes the app. Messages stuck in limbo. Files won't upload. The whole system feels like it's allergic to load. Chris runs tests in silence. Dana just stands there, arms crossed. Girls keep refreshing the dashboard like it'll magically fix itself. Try to stay upbeat, say, this is good, better to catch it now than live. Chris just says, it is live. Half of this was already pushed to production. My stomach drops. Call emergency stand-up, ask everyone what went wrong. Maria blames the DevOps pipeline. Kelsey says her laptop auto-updated. Jules says the test environment felt different. Chris says nothing. I snap, say we need accountability. Chris finally looks up. You replaced 5 senior devs with influencers. This was inevitable. Room goes dead quiet. Kelsey looks like she's going to cry. Maria mutters toxic energy under her breath. I say this isn't helpful. We need solutions, not blame. Chris just shrugs and says, then get people who know how to solve things. Dana follows me to my office after. We need backup, now. I say, we don't have time to train anyone new. She says, I wasn't talking about new. I know what she means. Mark, Jared, the old crew. I hesitate. Feels like betrayal. But losing this demo would kill everything. The story, the funding, the future. Spent the afternoon pacing. Kept telling myself we just needed another day, a patch, a team sync. Maybe Chris could stay up late and quietly fix it like he always does. Maybe Dana was just panicking. Maybe the investors wouldn't even notice a little lag. But I knew that was a lie. System wasn't just limping, it was bleeding out. And I had no bandages. Later that night, I find myself staring at Mark's contact. He was the lad dev back when the backend actually worked, but we fired him because I thought some random girl could fill his spot. He was blunt, didn't talk much, but the guy knew his stuff, basically ran the old team, even if I never said it out loud. His last pinned message, ping me if you ever need real help. I used to laugh at that. Thought it was smug. Now I just stare at it like it's a lifeline. Hover over the keyboard for 20 minutes, finally type, hey, you free this week? He replies 5 minutes later. Didn't think I'd hear from you again. What broke? I say it's nothing serious, just need some optimization help. He replies with a thumbs up emoji, and I'll bring Jared. They show up the next morning. No suits, no small talk. Mark wearing the same hoodie from the day we fired him. Jared holding a monster and a USB stick. The juniors look confused. Kelsey whispers, are they contractors? Chris just slides over a second monitor like he was expecting them all along. I try to set ground rules, say we're still maintaining a collaborative leadership culture. Mark just nods and says, yeah. Where's Prod? 5 minutes later, he's digging through logs, muttering. Jared's already rolling back a broken auth deployment from last week. Maria tries to help, asks Jared if she can shadow his workflow. He says, you can, but it's mostly just fixing things people should have tested. Kelsey watches Mark edit a config file and gasps. Wait, you're pushing directly to staging? Isn't that against protocol? He doesn't even look up. Protocol's broken. This is a fire. The girls huddle in the kitchen. I overhear. Maria. They're so intense. No documentation, no pair programming, no Jira tickets. Jules. It's giving burnout culture. Kelsey. I took a break to do yoga and he literally asked if I was done yet. They're not used to this pace, but the guys weren't here to vibe, they were here to fix. Chris syncs up with them by instinct. He and Mark pass files back and forth like they never stopped. Jared barely speaks, just types. You can feel the energy shift. Errors vanish, memory usage drops, build times shrink. No therapy stand-ups, just results. Maria comes to me midday, asks if we're endorsing this kind of work environment now, says some of the girls are feeling kind of displaced. I tell her to focus on learning what she can. She says, but they don't explain anything. They just do it. I don't have a good answer because she's right. They just do it. By day 2, the system's humming again. Jared finds an N+1 query, slowing down every workspace load, patches it with 2 lines. Mark deletes 2,000 lines of junk code and replaces it with 20. Maria asks, wait, why doesn't he leave comments? Chris replies, because the code works. Girls start pulling back. They sit at the side during debugging, stop trying to jump in. Even Kelsey keeps quiet, watching Jared from the other side of the room. You can see it hitting them. This isn't about gender, it's about who actually knows what they're doing. Jules posts in Slack, can we talk about respecting break hours? Jared's been typing non-stop since 8 a.m. Jared responds, respect the user first, then take a break. Nobody reacts, but I see Dana smirk from across the room. By the end of the second day, the girls start coming to the guys with actual questions. Not vibes, not suggestions, questions. Maria asks Jared what a rollback even is. He walks her through it. No sarcasm, just facts. You can tell she's surprised. Stand up that evening, for once it's short. Mark says, prod's stable, error logs are clean, staging mirrors production. Chris nods. Jared just says, we're good. The girls stay quiet, no interruptions, no side complaints, just listening. Afterwards, I catch Kelsey watching Mark. She asks me, how did we ever function without them? I don't answer because I know the truth. We didn't. Wednesday night, Chris pulls me aside, says, system's solid, demo will work fine, unless someone refactors it before Thursday. I say great job. He says, I didn't do most of it. They did Thursday. Investors arrive. They want a real-time demo, workspace creation, messaging, files, everything works. Perfect latency, no errors. After the demo, one of them says, looks like you've finally got an engineering culture that delivers. I nod, smile, don't mention Mark or Jared. They're already gone, off to fix something else probably. The girls try to regroup after. Kelsey suggests making a reflection circle to discuss the high-pressure energy. Maria says she wants to journal about feeling technically sidelined. Jules complains that the repo is too masculine. Chris doesn't say anything, just logs off. Finally. I stay late, open the error dashboard. All green. Metrics clean. For the first time in weeks, nothing's broken, and I didn't fix any of it. Close my laptop, sit in the dark. No more hashtags. Just the dudes doing their jobs the girls were supposed to without complaining. 6 months later, I'm not the CEO anymore. Didn't happen all at once. Investors started asking technical questions I couldn't answer. Dana quietly stopped CCing me on roadmap emails. Chris became the face of the company without trying. I told myself I was just stepping back to focus on strategy. Truth? I was benched. Not fired, too risky for PR, but nudged, softly, out of the spotlight. Chris bought out most of my shares, left me just enough equity to keep smiling for press photos, called it founder-friendly restructuring, offered more than I was worth, probably out of pity. The company still uses some of my slogans, built by dreams, powered by execution. That one's on the website footer, but no one remembers who said it. Now I consult part-time, do keynotes for women in tech panels, still post inspirational threads, still get likes. But I know the truth. I was never the backbone. I was the pitch. Chris runs the company now. Jared and Mark are full-time. System's never gone down since. They don't talk about diversity. They just ship. But I don't care. Still proud, because if a woman didn't start it, this whole ship wouldn't have even sailed.